expert authority world, do I have a treat with Rod Cleef for you today? I love talking about legacy. I love talking about success and growing business, entrepreneurial spirit, helping a lot of people, and Rod Cleef embodies all of these. As a CEO, author, and I'm going to have to look at the stats here because, as I would say, a great marketer, even though his business is helping you create lasting generational wealth, 10 million podcast downloads, 203 YouTube views in 2020, 60,000 plus Facebook connections, 23,000 Instagram, 16,000 LinkedIn, 8,500 on Twitter. I think he knows what he's doing. I can't wait to bring him up right after we thank our sponsor. Every business needs a book, including yours. Visit freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Once again, that's freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Rod Cleef. Rod, how are you feeling today?
Beautiful day in paradise, my friend. Let's have some fun today.
I'm looking forward to it. I just want to know about your story. You have done so much in such an exceptional way. Where did the drive come from? What do you feel it takes to be a successful entrepreneur?
Ooh, that's a big question. I will tell you, when I immigrated to this country when I was 6 years old with my brother Albert, my mother's Vansha. I was born in the Netherlands, wooden shoes, windmills, and we didn't have much growing up. And I think, in answer to your question, I got thrown into school, didn't speak English, found out what bullies were. So, I got beat up on a regular basis before I learned how to fight back. And
you and me both.
Yeah. And so, I think that, I will tell you, it's actually a negative driver. I used to, and I had the playground stories that everybody has. Like I got embarrassed by this girl that I had a crush on, and then she embarrassed me in front of a bunch of kids. And I think the bullies and that playground incident caused me to create a negative question that I asked myself, which was, how can I show them I'm good enough? And, again, which presupposed that I wasn't. But that question had a double-edged sword. So it actually probably cost me my first family, but it also caused me to, build pretty incredible wealth twice now. And we can speak to that if you like. But I think the driver really was the need to prove myself initially. Now the driver isn't. The driver for me now is to add value and help change people's lives. And I've had incredible success in that vein. My students, I've been teaching less than 4 years. My students own 50,000 multifamily units that I'm aware of. So, I'm very, very proud of that. And, but initially it was definitely a need to kind of prove the world I mattered, that I was good enough.
I can relate to that pretty 150%. I was picked on growing up and I didn't really know how to, let's say, cope with it. And I remember in high school, I could take it. I didn't enjoy it. But what really irritates me is if someone's hurting you, family, friends, loved ones, and I just couldn't stand for that. And I was in computer class doing a typing thing, and there was this kid picking on everyone, and then he chose to pick on me, and I'm like, you know what? You've been doing this all week. Don't touch the chair. And he kept typing on my keyboard during a timed computer test. And, I just go, don't touch the chair. I go to the printer to go get the sheet of paper and the printout, and I knew he was going to pull the chair on me. Well, I dropped down to one knee, hit him over the head with it. And I had never really done anything in school. I was the quiet one who drew, but I was like, you don't mess with me, my friends and family. And I'm just like, where did that come from? And I didn't like it. And to your point, I did not expect this, but you're talking about the negative driver.
Mm-hmm.
I would say we're both in the same boat with that. So I want to flip this and say, how did you, because I know I've done it too, where I go, you know what, I don't want to be driven by this. How did you flip it from a negative driver to a positive driver?
Yeah, that was an evolution. It didn't happen overnight. I will tell you, so to give you a little background, I got into real estate. My mom bought the house across the street from us when I was 14. She told me a couple of years later she'd made $20,000 in her sleep. I'm like, okay, Mom, screw college. I'm getting into real estate. And my first year in real estate, I made maybe $8,000, $10,000. My second year, maybe 10 to 12 grand. This is 1978 and 79. But my third year I made over $100,000. And what happened between year 2 and year 3 is I met someone that taught me about mindset and psychology and the importance of mindset and psychology to your success in anything. But in answer to your question, I will tell you that in 2006, my net worth went up $17 million while I slept. Okay. And you're thinking, wow, that's impressive. And I thought, wow, that's impressive. In fact, I thought I was a real estate god. And when that happens, God of the universe will give you a nice little smack. Well, that was 2008. In 2008, I lost $50 million. And I think that was a big piece of answering your question, really becoming humbled and recognizing that, success can be fleeting and really recognizing what is the true definition of success. And I will tell you, I actually had an epiphany and started giving back about that time. And that was a big piece of it. But I think, I come from a long line of PhDs and college professors, and my father, my uncles were all PhDs, college professors. And I never thought I would teach, but I started my podcast 5 years ago, and I used to tell people, I'll never sell you anything. I just want to add value. And that was the truth. And now I'm a liar because I've got courses and coaching and everything else. But in fact, let me show you something. On my behind my green screen, you can see the hundreds of thank you cards. You can't even see them all. The whole wall back here is covered with thank you cards from students whose lives have been impacted by my work in the last 4 years. And I'll tell you, and this is not ego, please know this. I get love. When I tell you I get love at least 10 times a day, I'm not exaggerating. I'll get emails, DMs, gifts, cards, you name it, on average about 10 times a day. And so it becomes kind of addicting. And it became addicting to me, which is why my wife puts up with me working late nights and Sundays and everything else, because I absolutely love this. And so I think, like I said, I think it was a transitionary thing where, I was focused on making money, but then I started more focusing on adding value and helping other people, achieve what they want. And I don't know, long answer to your question, but it's kind of a complex question, actually.
And let me pause you right there. Just want to make sure you're centered again.
Okay. Okay.
I love it because you have that heart component because, yeah, it's impressive. 17 million overnight or whatever, or even a short time, whatever the case was. Mm-hmm. That's impressive because most people never even get to there the first time, even not overnight or however long it takes. But at the same token, you knew what you were doing and you go, I want to share this with other people. Again, most people, I would say, in a situation like that, they're not going, I'm going to bend over backwards to make this knowledge available. They might share it from a symposium or a book or something, but I can relate to the happy people, and I'm always looking to get more people, satisfied. One of the things, more people satisfied with publishing. It's my core business, business book publishing, and I love hearing the success stories as well, and the thank yous. They're nice, but it takes a lot to deliver that. Most people, hey, you're successful. Why not? I mean, you could theoretically just put some money in the bank and make the return on it, have people invest it for you and just go, golfing every day. But
most people do that.
I love most people do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I will tell you, I love buying real estate. I've bought 2,500 units myself in the last 2.5, 3 years. But I really love teaching. I just came off of a 3-day boot camp where it's me for 3 full days with 750 participants. And in fact, this was just last weekend, and I'm just now recovering actually from that. It took me a full week to recover. But I just love it. And it's so great that we're able to do it live again. Now, I had to do virtual boot camps for a year and a half, but now we're fully live, and it was amazing to, be able to have that experience again after such a long hiatus.
Yeah, you clearly have the heart for it. I want to talk about, you said you lost 50 million in 2008.
Yep.
How do you recover from something like that?
It's a good question. And it's probably the question I get asked the most often, because some people, people killed themselves for losing less back in 2008, 9, and in the Great Depression, comparatively. And what it is. And if you come to one of my boot camps, by the way, I've got a virtual one coming up again in March, but if you come to one of my boot camps, the first thing we do is goal setting for about an hour and 15 minutes, because like Napoleon Hill says in his book, Think and Grow Rich, you've got to have a burning desire. The only way you're going to push through those limiting beliefs like I had, that I wasn't good enough, or fear, or maybe you're comfortable and the comfort zone's a warm place and we all know nothing grows there. The only way you push through all of that is by having a burning desire. And so we do a goal setting workshop really on steroids, and determine exactly what someone wants, why they want it, which is probably more important than the actual item itself. And so, that's how we create that burning desire. And that's how I recovered from losing $50 million, was reassociating with what I wanted and why I wanted it. And I'm going to tell you, it sucked. It was no fun for a few months. And, I thought I was set for life. And I thought I was, really, I thought 80 million baby boomers getting old and getting cold, that Florida was recession proof. Well, Florida was ground zero for what happened in 2008 and 9. And, and I will tell you that, it was, like I say, it was eye-opening, it was humbling, but it also made me a lot stronger. And I mean, I'm obviously back now. I'm back and then some, but it was very humbling and eye-opening. And how I recovered was one of the big things was reassociating with what I wanted, why I wanted it, getting around a peer group that was thriving through that process, through that time in my life. I got into a mastermind of people that were killing it, which is really important. Peer group is critical. Also, I got a coach. That was very expensive at the time to help me focus on what he said, money generating activity. I was doing plenty of busy work, but I was all over the place. Helped me hone in. So those are three of the big things that I did to recover.
And for anyone listening, how much did you invest in the coaching? Because I know that even that can range.
1,200 a call, and I had to speak to him 4 times a month. It was $4,800 a month. He was very well recommended, and it was worth every freaking penny. What I had done was in 2008 and 9, when I lost everything, I built a litigation support company. So we helped people save their homes. It was good business. We helped thousands of families save their homes, but I hated it because it was litigious, and I sold the company a couple of years ago. But it almost went bankrupt in 2010, and the coach really helped me through that. And I mean, it ended up being a $10 million company with 60 employees, like I say, that I sold a couple of years ago. But the coach was critical. Now, that was very expensive for a coach. I mean, we charge coaching, and I have coaches. I like I said, my students have owned I'm well over 50,000 doors at this point, and we don't charge anywhere near that much. But the point is, I very much value coaching. In fact, I've got a picture that I show my students of me with my arms out, and I've got these lanyards around my neck and on my arms, hundreds of them from the masterminds and the events and the boot camps that I've gone to. I never went to college. That's kind of like my college education. And because learners are earners, you never stop learning, you never stop growing. I remember my son, I lived in an $8 million mansion that I built on the beach, and I'd come home and my son, I remember him asking me. I was going to a real estate boot camp, and I'd already owned thousands of houses and some apartments, and he's like, "Why are you going to a boot camp?" And I gave him that lesson. It's because we're always learning. If I get one little piece, it's worth it. So anyway.
Yeah. So whether you're speaking at the event, you still believe in going to them.
Absolutely. I'm a participant very often. Now, of course, I keynote lots of events at this point, but, even now, I absolutely would go to an event to learn. I haven't gone because of COVID in quite a while, but I'm missing it. I love going. So
you and I are very much alike, sir. I, even before I was speaking at events, I enjoyed learning. But even now, I might speak at one, go to one, speak at a couple, go to a couple, whatever the case is. If I feel it will add value in some way, shape, or form, and I can translate that to my clients to help them.
Sure.
I know a lot of authors and speakers, and I notice some of them, it's like, well, I'm not speaking at it, so I'm not going to go. I'm like, it still looks like a great event. I mean, why wouldn't you? Well, I'm not speaking at it. I'm like, okay. So thank you for that expert authority effect insight, because I think that's invaluable, that, again, you're humbling yourself enough to go, well, I'm not keynoting, I'm not speaking, I'm not whatever, as one of the, not line item, but playbill people. You're not in the lineup. You're there, but it can also be very relaxing because, hey, we don't need to put on a show. We just need to show up.
Sure. Now I actually come and speak at events where I do speak, but it's very relaxed and I just show up as well. I'm just thinking of one right now, a mastermind they invite me to, but it's just fun. I just come for the fun of it. It's not stressful at all. When you're coordinating an event, by the way, there's a lot of, uh, angst around it. You want to make sure everybody has a great experience. Like I just came off of it. I mean, literally it took me a week because to recover, and I'm responsible for how cool the room is and the food. And I mean, that I take personal responsibility for that. Obviously I can't control it like I'd like to, but when you're able to go to an event and just sit and enjoy it and learn and maybe speak, either way, it's a lot of fun. So I agree with you completely.
Yeah, putting on events is definitely a whole other ball game. Also, not just speaking at them, but it's why I like guesting on other shows as well. It's like, hey, I can relax now instead of like, is everything going good and all of that. But I enjoy this because I get to interview great people such as yourself. So, for anyone listening, why multifamily homes?
Well, listen, there's so many reasons. First of all, what else can you buy besides real estate that someone else pays for? Number one. Number two, I've owned 2,000 houses that I rented long term. I had 800 houses in 2008. It was the houses that pulled me down. My multifamily, I had some apartment complexes. They did just fine in the crash. They pulled back, but it was the houses that pulled me down. So that's one of the reasons I started my podcast, was to get that message out there. If you're going to buy and hold, for God's sakes, do something besides single family, do multifamily or do another asset class like mobile home parks, self-storage, office, retail. But I will tell you, multifamily is the most resilient asset class in the real estate realm. Within 3 years of the big crash in 2008 and 9, rents had exceeded 2006 levels, pre-crash levels. That's how fast it recovered. And even with COVID, we were all freaking out that COVID was going to be a big deal for multifamily. It was like a blip because, the government didn't provide assistance for retail shop owners or office building owners or public other asset classes, but they absolutely provided assistance to renters to pay their rent. So, it's a solid, people need a place to live, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the logistical component, where if you've got large enough multifamily, you can have on-site management that's managing the asset for you. So yes, you've got to do asset management, but that's an hour a week. With other, types of investments, you have to be much more involved. I could go on and on. There's so many reasons why multifamilies, in my opinion, the best. The tax benefits. I haven't paid taxes in years because of the incredible tax benefits. You've got cost segregation. You can accelerate depreciation. You've got bonus depreciation. I mean, again, I could go on and on. A multifamily is an extraordinary vehicle. And let me mention this. I do have I don't sell anything at my virtual boot camps. I've got a virtual boot camp coming up March 12th and 13th. If somebody's interested, they can text ROD Live, RODLIVE, to 72345, and it's a direct link to that website. Like I say, I don't sell anything there. It's 18 hours of training. I think right now you can come for $100. It's kind of a no brainer. It's less than a meal. A nice meal. So
can you even get food anymore for that?
Right. Thank you. So, it's 18, 19 hours of training. It kicks my butt because it's me for 2 full days, but I go through every aspect of the business, finding deals, evaluating them, financing them, raising the money for them, building your team, managing them, and on and on. And then of course I spend a good deal of time on mindset, because I will tell you, Mario, it's my belief that 80 to 90% of your success in anything is your mindset and your psychology. Only 10 to 20% is the mechanical knowledge. It's the do and it's the keep doing. And so, that's how people push through that fear and those limiting beliefs like I had, limiting beliefs like I'm not smart enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. There's a reason that the acronym for belief systems is BS, because 99% of them are just that, BS. And so,
What's your take on the nature versus nurture of, well, I grew up here, and I know it might be in the mindset category, but how much do you think your environment plays a role?
It's huge. Okay, I'm sorry, I want to be real clear on what you're asking. Okay, so in multifamily, you can buy anywhere in the country. I have assets in 6
Well,
states.
I mean, for the
It's
person
easy.
who's looking to get into it, if they're like, well, I
Right.
didn't grow up this way, I didn't have this. I
Oh, it's
know
huge.
it's the mindset, but
I just did a TikTok. I did a piece on this in my boot camp, and they threw it on TikTok and Instagram about the importance of your environment, and seeing
well,
that
the
that it
environment plays a
supports
role
you,
in the mindset.
your spouse, the people around you. Are they encouraging you, or are they like, oh, good luck with that, or I would never do that, or what, and you have to get their enrollment, you have to get their buy-in. So that's one of the things I actually spent some time on at my boot camp. It's like, hey, who in the audience has dealt with this with their spouse? How did you handle it? So other people can hear how you get around issues like that. Because if your environment is not supporting you and validating you and encouraging you, it can be really hard to do. If it's intimate, if you're talking intimate relationship, family, your mom, your spouse, if they're not behind you, it makes it much more difficult to go out there and build your dreams. So it's hugely important. And your peer group. You show me your 3 best friends, I'll show you who you are in every aspect of your life.
From the time you get your mind right and go, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and because we all have different environments, we all grew up differently. We grew up kind of very similar. It's kind of cool, but
Mm-hmm.
no, you draw the line in the sand today. How long is it taking you to go from where you're at to having some of these assets under your belt and generating low
I've got
six figures in revenue?
I've got a lot of students that have done it in 2 or 3 years, retired from very high paying jobs, and I mean really high paying, like multiple 6-figure jobs. Because their income has eclipsed what they were making in their W-2 job. So, with me, listen, you can do it on your own in 5 to 7 years. People bring me in to pay for speed. I mean, basically, it's paying for speed. But can you do it on your own? Absolutely. Okay. If you want to do it faster, I'm your guy. Okay, and that's really
And I want to
the
make that
benefits
point
of getting a
even more
coach.
well known, because for people, same thing with my business book publishing. It's like, yeah, you
Sure.
can figure it out if you want to take 2-3 years, but how
Mhm.
much revenue are you losing in the meantime?
That's it. That's it. And years of your life. Okay. Because, most people want to escape that rat race. They want
Hassle.
to make it happen. And if and I mean, there are other great thought leaders out there that teach this stuff as well. I'm really proud of what we've done. I don't know if anybody's done it quite as fast as we have with as much success. We've got this incredible ecosystem. They're called my warriors, by the way. And if you have an interest in applying, you can text the word crush, CRUSH, to 72345. But I would encourage you to listen to some of my podcasts first, or get to know me a little first. I host the largest commercial real estate podcast, I think, in the world now. We're close to 12 million downloads. Your bio was a little dated on me, I think. But, we're close to 12 million downloads. YouTube videos were watched for 40,000 hours last year. So I'm really out there quite a bit. But if you get to know me a little bit, and you have an interest in applying, you text crush to 72345. We'll see if it's a fit. We don't take everybody. And if I get any ego or narcissism, I don't take them, because part of what I do now is protect that group more than help it grow. But we're always adding value. In fact, one of the secrets to success in anything is to add the most value. Like, here are some of the books that I've written in the last 2 years to add value to my students. So
7 or 9 of them there, it looks like.
Yeah, and there are, and some of them are pretty comprehensive as well. So, sorry, I made a mess here. But anyway, yeah. So, and the wealthiest people on the planet are the ones that add the most value, right? And so that's one of my focuses, is to try to add as much value as I can. When I started my podcast, I used to tell people, I'll never sell. I told you that already. I'll never sell you anything, because I just wanted to add value. And then then I'm like, I hit 1 million downloads. Okay,
see,
knucklehead, I probably better do something.
Because you have that heart where you really do want to add the value. And there's a point where even if you say, no, I'm not going to sell you anything, I know you had people reaching out saying, please, I want.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I used to take free phone calls from my listeners. I had nothing to sell. I said, let's talk for 30 minutes. I built 27 businesses. Several have been worth tens of millions of dollars. Most, I call them seminars. I don't call them failures. I say most have been spectacular, flaming seminars, but let's talk. Let's see if I can help you. And I did hundreds of those calls. And then finally, people are like, please come up with something. I'd send them to someone else that I knew that had some courses and stuff. And finally, I'm like, okay, screw it. I did it. And I wrote a book first. I gave away 20,000 copies of that. I know that's your wheelhouse. And,
It's one
you know,
reason I
it's
tell people to publish a book on their expertise, because people
right.
want that more information, and you don't need to spend 3, 4, 5 hours on the phone. Give
Right.
them, you can give them a
No,
book and
no,
they can
it's instant
invest in one.
credibility. It's instant credibility, and I wanted to add value, and I got, it became a, I don't know, 3 or 4 category bestseller on Amazon. I didn't do like New York Times or anything like that, but it did well,
Clearly
and
that hurt you.
I gave away 20,000 copies for free just to build my list. Okay, now I still actually give it away. It's free plus shipping. You pay the shipping and you get it for free plus some other courses, and I just use that to again create reach and. But it's a real quality product too. And I created this companion. This ties into what you do. I created this companion course that goes with the book, chapter by chapter videos and things like that, just to add more value, and it's been really well received.
It's a great way to do it. I encourage all of our authors to do it. I know we're limited on time. I got a few more questions, and we got to
Now
thank
go
the
ahead.
sponsor.
Let's
but
do it.
This is the Wheel of Whatever, and you want a yellow or black one?
Oh, I don't care.
Let's do yellow.
Okay.
My question for you is, if you could travel anywhere in the world that you haven't been yet, where would it be?
Egypt.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want to see the pyramids. I've always been fascinated by ancient Egyptology. I got A's in that class where I got, C's and D's in other classes I had no interest in. So no, I love Egypt's definitely going to happen soon. Yeah.
This is freaking surreal. I was just watching stuff this past weekend on Egypt and the Sumerians, and I'm going to throw this in. Where do you think Atlantis is?
I have no idea. That's not something I've studied. It could be in the Red Sea. Who knows? Could be at the bottom of one of those Mediterranean oceans. Who knows?
Okay, fair. Well, we're going to thank our sponsor and come back for the imperfect action round. You're already the expert, but have you transformed your expertise into a tangible asset that will generate and qualify leads while increasing profit for you 24/7? And if so, how well are you promoting it? With the Expert Authority Effect publishing method, it's easier and faster than ever. Visit freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Visit freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com to get started now. Once again, that's freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com. And we are back with the imperfect action round. Rod, are you ready to take imperfect action?
That's all I ever do.
I want to ask you, who is your biggest success story?
Oh, gosh. I think I'd have to say myself, frankly. I mean, that's not ego. It's just, I made and lost $50 million. I'm back. I lost an $8 million house. Lost an $8 million house. Now I live in a compound that has 6 buildings on the water. And because God's got a sense of humor, you can see my old house across the bay. Literally, it's right out my backyard. It's hilarious.
Really?
But no, I'm very proud of what I've accomplished. But the biggest accomplishment has been my students. I mean, they're just killing it, and they're loving it, and they're enthused and they're motivated. And so, I think I'd have to go with that, buddy. And that's not ego. It's just, I'm not sure I've not helped anyone to that level of success yet. So,
yeah, but I have to caveat this. Do all of them even want it? Because I think, like I tell people with book publishing, they're like, well, I want to be a New York Times bestseller. Clearly it didn't hurt you. But at the same point, it's like whether you get a title or not, I'm a 2-time international whatever bestseller. Just the fact that you have the book, that's right. The game changer. And I would say for you, if you're helping, maybe you didn't help anyone to get to your level yet, okay? But how many people have you helped leave their job and replace multiple 6 figures?
Yeah, a good chunk, and I'm real proud of it.
I'd say that's the game changer, because you need the desire for the rest. Some people might not even desire it.
Right.
So I have 3 questions for you, rapid fire, 60-second or less answers. The first one is, what is the fastest path to the cash?
Knowledge. That's it. Knowledge is everything. Learners are earners. Don't dabble. You get crushed if you're a dabbler. Just learn whatever it is you're going after, and then massive action, massive freaking action.
Love that. Number 2, what is the biggest problem you see your prospects making and the fastest way for them to fix it?
My prospects, my biggest problem is they get caught in analysis paralysis, so they never take action. They have to, and my most successful students are the ones that are the most analytical, and they're the hardest to get to actually to get started with us. They have to check off every little box. They feel like they have to know everything about that there is to know about everything, and they never actually take action. It's sad to see. But you have to push through that fear if that's you, to take that first step. The
But
first
you're
step's
saying
always the
the
hardest.
analytical ones, once they do get on the other side, they're the most successful?
They kill it. They kill it. But getting them to actually get that wheel turning is the hardest thing for us.
Okay, I totally relate to that. Um, I see it in some people with book publishing too. It's like you could have been done by now in the time you've been thinking about it. But number 3, what is the best way to maximize customer lifetime value?
Add massive continual value, continually improve. Tony Robbins calls it CANI, constant and never ending improvement. We're always trying to make it better. We sent a survey out on Monday after my boot camp. And of course, 99% of the comments are stellar and fantastic. I look at the 1%, I look at the critical feedback to see what I can do to make it better. I've never really had a complaint other than the room's too cold or the food sucks, but I'm always looking for, something that I can improve. And so that is the biggest recipe for success, in my opinion, constant improvement.
All great insights, all great expert authority effect insights. We've talked about, you mentioned a couple books. I love publishing books for people, and I also love hearing what books have impacted you the most.
Sure. Well, my love language is gifts. And there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. I got to interview the author. That was a real treat for me. I've given away thousands of copies of his book. So the gifts that my students get include the slight edge, those little decisions you make every day that traject your life up or down. Turning pro, Stephen Pressman, deciding to stop being an amateur and become a freaking professional, to whatever it is you do, just decide you're a professional. Let's see, Gary Keller's One Thing. I had his co-author on the show as well. Hal Elrod, I had him on the show. The Miracle Morning, the things you do every morning that get you juiced and get you going for the day. There's enough. There's a few.
Gary Chapman is one of my favorites. The 5 Love Languages. I read
Yeah, he's awesome.
A decade or two ago.
He's awesome.
That's awesome. Where would you like people to learn more?
Well, if you're interested in me at all, go to realestatewithrod.com. That's a direct link to Rod Khleif. Nobody can spell my name. Go to realestatewithrod.com, and there's all kinds of free resources there. My podcast, Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing, like I say, it's been at the top of the charts for literally years. I'm really proud of it. We're about to hit 12 million downloads. But if you're interested in the boot camp, you text Rod Live to 72345. Like I said, it's 2 days of training, nothing being sold, kind of a no-brainer. You can come for $100 or so, truly a no-brainer. So anyway, I appreciate you having me on, buddy. I am bumping up against a hard stop now.
It was an absolute pleasure, and I appreciate everything you shared. Expert Authority.
Thank you, my friend.
We have another great episode here today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.